you're watching the news on African Free Press Television. I am Bridget Okudili with the news updates. The Chairman Chief Executive of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Ahmed Giadi, has retired from the agency after 10 years in the saddle of the agency. The chairman on Wednesday handed over to the Director General of the agency, Mrs. Bode-George, in a parade at the Ikoyi headquarters, Lagos. Giadi said he was leaving the agency better than he met it 10 years ago, adding that his greatest legacy was his zero tolerance for corruption. Mr. Giadi also said for drug barons to be dislodged and drug eradication, Nigerians must remain forthright and committed to drug control programs. Senators of the All Progressive Congress under the aegis of Unity Forum on Wednesday failed to make good their threat to boycott all Senate sessions presided by the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu of the People's Democratic Party. The forum is led by Ahmed Lawan, Mr. Saraki's challenger for the Senate President position, including key members who are George Akume, Benue State, Suleiman Hunkuyi, Kaduna, and Kabir Marafa Zamfara, among others. He explained that the APC senators would not recognize the leadership of any opposition senator. He made the comments after members of the group staged a walkout from a session led by Mr. Ekweremadu as Mr. Saraki was away at the presidential villa attending to the swearing-in ceremony of new ministers. But on Wednesday, Mr. Ekweremadu for the second time presided in the absence of Mr. Saraki, who was attending Hannah Awolowo's burial in Ogun State. The All Progressive Congress senators stayed put despite their November 11 threat. All the frontline members of the Lawan-led group attended the session. Almost 6 months after the change of government, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has for the first time congratulated former President Goodluck Jonathan for successfully handing over to President Muhammad Buhari and commended him for continuing to have faith in Nigeria. Obasanjo's commendation has contained in his reply to President Jonathan's earlier notification of his plans to establish a foundation following the end of his term in office as president. Jonathan had, in a letter dated September 22, 2015, formally notified Obasanjo of his intention to set up a foundation to promote good works, while Obasanjo replied in acknowledgement of receiving the letter, while wishing Jonathan well and offering to be of help when needed. President Muhammad Buhari, during the installation of His Royal Highness Mohammed Sanusi II as Chancellor of the University of Benin yesterday, warned university administrators that the federal government would no longer tolerate any form of corruption in the education sector, saying that anyone found wanting would be persecuted. This comes as the Emir of Kano Mohammed Sanusi II attributed the current economic hardship in the country to the alleged misrule of past administrators, saying that the federal government must make some difficult decisions for the nation to survive. President Buhari, who was represented by the Minister of Education, Alhaji Amadu, noted that the federal government was prepared to inject more funds into the education sector, but warned against the mismanagement of funds by the administration. The Senate has confirmed the nomination of Ahmed Lawan Kuru as Managing Director of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria. Kuru was initially appointed by President Muhammad Buhari to replace Mustafa Chike Obi as Buhari dissolved the executive team of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria. Kuru is formerly the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Defunct Enterprise Bank Limited. The former Minister of Petroleum, Mrs. Denziani Alison Madueke, has vehemently denied the allegations that a certain sister of hers had kids for the immediate past President, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. She made this known in responding to questions by the Managing Director of Ovation Magazine and the Boss newspaper, Mr. Dele Momodi, in London. She wondered why people should fabricate such blatant lies. Nigeria Country Director of United Nations Population Fund, Ms. Ratizia, says no fewer than 100 women die daily across northern Nigeria during childbirth. She made the statement today in Sokoto at a consultative meeting with the theme Accelerating the Reduction of Maternal Death in Northern Nigeria, the Role of the Traditional and Religious Leaders. She charged traditional rulers, community and religious leaders to take census of all pregnant women in their areas with a view to tracking the exact figure of maternal mortality, adding that the measure will reduce the menace and save more pregnant mothers and their children from dying during childbirth. Somali authorities in the semi-autonomous region of Puntland has warned of potential attacks by the Al-Shabaab splinter faction that recently announced alliance to the Islamic State group. Commander of Puntland Forces General Saeed Mohammed Hersi has confirmed officially for the first time that Al-Shabaab fighters in Puntland has split into two factions. General Hersi also said the new splinter faction is active in planning attacks in order to demonstrate that ISIS is present in Somalia, using a common acronym of ISIS, which is also known as ISIL or Daesh. The South African government has threatened to a jail term for Chris Oyakiloma if his church, Christ Embassy, fails to release its financial records. The South African Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities and several religious leaders in the country could be jailed if they fail to comply with the demands of the Commission. The Commission said it was investigating the commercialization of religion and abuse of people's belief and had summoned several churches to appear before it with the ordination certificate, registration certificate, bank statements and annual financial statements from 2012. One of the pilots on the Russian jet reportedly shot down by Turkish forces near the Syrian border has been captured by rebels, according to the Syrian rebel official. Rebel groups operating in the Jabal al-Turkaman area where the plane crashed include moderate forces, Syrian al-Qaeda affiliates and al-Nusra Front and Turkoman rebels backed by Ankara. Russia, a strong ally of Syrian President Bashir al-Assad, began airstrikes in Syria last September, targeting militant groups opposed to the government. That's the news for you on African Free Press Television, as edited by Leo Iketa. For more stories, please log on to our website at www.africanfreepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at African Free Press. Like our Facebook page as African Free Press. Join in our discussions on African Free Press Forum and subscribe to our YouTube channel at African Free Press. I am Bridget Tukulele.